Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan, and I do hope you lot are all doing well today, man. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series right here on Football Therapy, where I go across football news media, see what's being said about Chelsea, and present it to you guys here in a manageable package, giving you my opinion, but more importantly, asking for your opinion. And today, I want to talk about Simon Johnson's piece in The Athletic, where he reiterates the fact how Frank Lampard really does want Declan Rice, perhaps no longer as a centre-half, now they've got Thiago Silva, but as a quintessential defensive midfielder, as he does not see Kante as a DM, an insider, tells The Athletic. Very, very interesting indeed. I want to talk about what Declan Rice would offer Chelsea if he could come to Chelsea this summer and maybe next summer. Do Chelsea look for an alternative central defensive midfielder? As much as Frank likes all of his midfielders, he is very, very lucid to the fact how they are lacking a balance. And Frank wants to fix that and build a new midfield, a new engine room around someone like Declan Rice, which makes sense. If you are new to Football Therapy, please do consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that all-important bell notifications icon, as we are on that beautiful highway all the way up to 100,000 subscribers, man. I believe it can happen with your help, and if you want to support me further, consider dropping a like on this video. Thanks very much, mate. Alright then, let's get into it. So Chelsea have done incredible business, of course, this transfer window. We know they've got loads of offensive talent, and that's completely sorted, you know, with the likes of Ziyech, Havertz, Werner, Abraham, Giroud, Mason Mount, Pulisic. There's a lot of threatening, forward-thinking players there, and to be honest, Chelsea have a decent defensive roster now sorted also, with Ben Chilwell as a starting left-back and Reece James as a starting right-back. You could put both Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma in a centre-back partnership and Edouard Mendy in goal. Everything seems sorted, but for Frank Lampard, the understanding is that isn't enough. He needs some sort of base point, a focal point in the central midfield that's not only vocal and commanding, but just suits the player profile that he wants to build off. Now, Declan Rice remains Frank Lampard's #1 priority, and it's for a few reasons. First and foremost is because of his play style. He doesn't roam, he sits there and he defends the back four, and he looks for trouble, and he commands his number 8 next to him, he commands his centre-backs, his full-backs. And to be honest, I say first and foremost, it's his positional play and his player profile, which is absolutely the truth, but equally as important, he's vocal and commanding. If you listen to Chelsea without the piped-in audience crowd sounds or whatever, you can hear they are not vocal in the midfield. This is something that Matt Law, the journalist, has said a few times as well. He says they just don't talk, especially in comparison to their opposition, and that's a huge problem when defending transition or attacking in transition. No words being exchanged from the midfield to defence and the midfield to attack. That's hugely important, and of course, Declan Rice brings this. Now I'm going to read you a little extract from Simon Johnson's article in The Athletic, giving a little bit more insight to how Frank Lampard views this CDM position. Lampard has made it clear that Kante is going nowhere, despite the interest from Inter Milan. So what is the reasoning? An insider explains, I believe the thinking is for the balance of the squad. Last season, Chelsea didn't have a defensive midfielder with the mindset to hold. Quote, Kante is not a holding midfielder. He wants to leave areas. He wants to go and win the ball back. I believe Lampard wants a holder just to sit there, to break things up, to be a more physical presence, end quote. And here lies the problem, boys and girls, because Frank Lampard loves N'golo Kante. You can see from the extract he's going nowhere, and he absolutely values his ability to run around. Frank Lampard does actually really like Jorginho. He likes how he can play out of pressure, and he likes how he puts it all on the pitch and his leadership qualities. But he's not really delivering the kind of thing Frank Lampard wants. And of course, Chelsea's player of the season last season, Mateo Kovacic, he can also play that 6 role kind of and dribble and progress the ball, but it's not what Frank Lampard wants. He wants this lone CDM. You know, fair enough, in the future that could be Ethan Ampadu, or perhaps Ethan Ampadu could even play in defence for Chelsea. Who knows, he's a very versatile player. But that kind of player at the moment, That's who Frank Lampard wants, and he's seen Declan Rice do it in the Premier League for many years now at such a young age, also wearing the captain's armband for West Ham. This is the kind of player Lampard wants to build his midfield around, and ultimately, you could argue, build his team around, because he's got the creativity and expression from the forward players, and he's got a bit more experience at the back now. The defensive line could settle, and from there, you really need to control the game from the engine room. Now let's be real, man, it's looking incredibly unlikely that Chelsea actually secure the signing of Declan Rice this transfer window. West Ham do not want to play ball, and as a club at the moment, they're not imploding, but you could say they're nearly imploding. The fans are not happy with a lot of stuff. Obviously, they sold that wonder kid. There's been a lot of dysfunctional runnings of the club for a long time, and often David Moyes is an uninspiring figure at the head of the club in terms of management. Declan Rice is seen as the jewel in the crown at West Ham, and they would not want to lose their young captain, the shining bright future, the last bastion of goodness. I actually spat a bit there, I was getting so expressive, in their club. And if they did sell him to Chelsea, it would be because Declan Rice is pushing for the move. Now, we know Declan Rice wants to come to Chelsea. We know Chelsea want Declan Rice. But at the same time, Declan does have a very close affinity with West Ham, the club that took him when he was 14 years old from Chelsea. And he's wearing the captain's armband. He does care about the club. And for that reason, would he push for the Chelsea move? I'm not so sure, but would he just not want to miss this opportunity and go to them? Look, guys, I'm not going to refuse to train here, but I'd like you to sell me to Chelsea. That might be step one, but the truth is, there's a massive financial stumbling block here. They've rated him, or they've valued him rather, at like something incredible, £80 million or something, which is just not feasible, even though, let's be real, even though he's the player that Frank Lampard wants, in another situation coming from another club, he could be 40-50 million pounds, not 80. So that's an incredible inflation on this player. So probably not this summer, maybe though. The fact how Frank Lampard's told a very hungry Roman Abramovich, I want this guy, and free spending Roman Abramovich, he may look to continue to take advantage of a very peculiar transfer window and spend a lot of money on Declan Rice. But for me, it's still quite unlikely that Chelsea signed Declan Rice this summer. And if that's the case, they may still seek alternatives in the CDM role. That's another thing that's been spoken about by Matt Law, Simon Johnson, other people that cover Chelsea. Regardless to the fact that Declan Rice is the priority target for Frank Lampard, Chelsea as a club, as an institution planning this project, may consider alternatives to the young Englishman to play in the CDM role for this Chelsea side this season. Anyway, I'm really keen and interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on this potential transfer. What do you think? Would you take Declan Rice at Chelsea, and what would be your price limit for this player? And could you see it happening? I want to get all your thoughts and opinions on this potential transfer down in the comment section below. I really want to hear that, mate. Also, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. And a quick moment to plug my Twitch channel. If you want to hang out and play video games with yours truly, do go check out twitch.tv/YansYard, because I'm playing a lot of FIFA on there at the moment. I'm going to get FIFA 21 and do a Chelsea career mode and just play loads of FIFA. I'm getting better, but I need your help, so do go follow my Twitch channel. I'll leave a link in the top of the description as well, so you can click on that, so you can follow it. And hey, if you want to support me, subscribe to it as well. Other than that, enjoy the football, and I will see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.